What's going on, everybody? Ben the Realtor AZ here, and thank you so much for tuning into my channel today. Join me as I head to East Tucson, Arizona for some original, authentic Chicago-style hot dogs and Italian beef sandwiches at Luke's Italian Beef, and we'll dive in to some Chicago cuisine history from Chicago all the way back to AZ. Welcome back to my channel, everyone. Smash up that like button, hit the subscribe button, definitely hit that notification bell so you get notified every time I drop a new video. All right, so we're located at Luke's Italian Beef, located in East Side Tucson, Arizona, off of South Alvernon Way, nestled right in between East 22nd Street and East 29th Street. Luke's Italian Beef is an original Chicago style restaurant, authentic. The owner actually opened up a restaurant on the north side of Chicago back in the 60s, and then he brought it to Tucson, blessing us with those wonderful flavors of Chicago. I actually think Chicago has the best food, hands down, in America. Hit me in the comments if you disagree or if you have a better place. I think New Orleans maybe comes a close second, but Chicago has so much flavor, so diverse. And you know what? They're outside of California and some other states, the Midwest really populates Arizona, especially people from Illinois and Chicago. They're some of the most friendliest, nicest people you'll come across that I've ever met. And I think they're the most friendliest, nicest people within Phoenix and Tucson. All right, so as you can see, they represent everywhere they go. They always represent their teams. You know, if you're ever in Chicago on the south side, you'll see everybody wearing White Sox hats representing the White Sox. When you're on the north side, you see everybody representing the Cubs. You see a lot of blue. They love their Bulls. They love their Bears. All right, as you can see, this restaurant, he's representing, the owner is definitely representing. It's a family-owned business, and he keeps his recipe a secret as he only passes it down to his kids, and he has a few other locations, and his kids are going to take over. What a better way to be a father, to pass something down to your kids. I commend that. All right, so one of the staples that Chicago has is the Chicago style hot dog. I actually waited until I visited Chicago my first time. It was one of my bucket list things, was I had to try this when I got to Chicago, and I didn't want to try it anywhere else first. All right, it's a wonderful hot dog. This hot dog is served on a steamed poppy seed bun, okay, with a Vienna beef hot dog as well, yellow mustard, bright green Chicago style relish, fresh chopped onions. You get the red tomatoes, you get the pickle spare as well, and they give you spicy spot peppers and a dash of celery salt. So it's really good. Like, it's one of my favorite hot dogs, hands down. But if I had to choose between a Sonoran hot dog and a Chicago style hot dog, I have to say the Sonoran hot dogs are my favorite. I think it's the greatest hot dog ever made. Sonoran hot dogs over Chicago style hot dogs. Sorry guys, tell me what's your favorite in the comments as well. Now, going to Chicago, this was huge. Like, being an 80s kid, growing up in the 80s and the 90s, all the movies you would always see in Chicago, the Vienna beef sign, and all the Chicago dogs being eaten by John Candy, and those guys, Harry Carey, being huge with the Chicago Cubs, and also the Italian beef sandwiches, which is huge in Chicago. A lot of tourists don't really know about it, but the Italian beef sandwich is king. And I think the Italian beef sandwich is the best sandwich ever. Now, it's slices of beef from inside round or top sirloin, served on French bread, excuse me, served on French bread with hot or sweet peppers, and it's dunked in the juice, okay? And it's so good. You get it dunked in the juice to just soften up that French bread, and it's so delicious. You can even have it served with an Italian sausage. And that's what Luke's in Tucson specializes in, is the Italian beef sandwich with the Italian sausage. And that's what I prefer as well. I think it's the best sandwich ever created. It's a huge staple from the Italian immigrants who came in to America back in the early 1900s. And in Chicago, you have a lot of different neighborhoods and ethnicities and backgrounds and different cultures. This is an Italian sub as well. Really good. You can get the full or the half. Very delicious as well. I went ahead and ordered that. As you can see here, these are some of my influences. Being an 80s baby, growing up in the 80s and the 90s, Uncle Buck, Home Alone. These are all movies in Chicago. Ferris Bueller's Day Off. These were all Chicago movies I watched. I remember just seeing Chicago and I always wanted to go. Hoop Dreams, Risky Business with Tom Cruise. Also Adventures in Babysitting. I used to watch this when I was a kid. Cooley High, especially. My parents, family members used to watch this. I would always watch Cooley High. And who could forget about Al Capone, a 1920s, 30s gangster / mobster who got caught for tax evasion. All right, now, as you see on the screen here, this movie is called Rookie of the Year, one of my most influential Chicago movies that really inspired me growing up. And here's my Al Bundy moment, guys. Now, I grew up playing all types of sports. I grew up playing football, basketball, and baseball all the way through high school. Okay, Little League when I was a kid. I loved Little League baseball. Played all the way to college. Okay, I played college baseball, almost pro. I'll get into that on another video. Now, this movie, the character in this movie, okay, it's based in Chicago, Wrigley Field, Chicago Cubs. The character, he's a kid. He's like a 10, 12-year-old kid named Henry Rowan Gardner. Now, he breaks his arm, and all of a sudden, he has like a super fast arm, and he can pitch like a grown man. He can basically throw the ball harder than anybody in the league, and they sign him to the Cubs. So it's like a dream come true for a kid. You're a kid playing for your favorite team, on your favorite team, and you're the star, basically. So his mom gives him Cubs tickets, and him and his friends, and the Cubs usually play day games. So I actually have a friend here in Chicago who told me a lot of stories about growing up in Chicago and being a Cubs fan, is that they would ditch school a lot and go to the Cubs games, because the Cubs would always play like at noon, 1 o'clock. I even remember growing up in California, as like if you stayed home from school or you got home early, the Cubs were on WGN all the time. So I grew up watching the Cubs as well. And of course, Atlanta Braves on TBS. So I'm a huge baseball fan. This movie really inspired me. I loved it. The intro is amazing. It has John Candy in it. In the intro, it's basically a day game and everything that leads up to the game, and it's in Wrigley Field. So it's showing like how the concession stands are open, all the workers who are working in the stadium, and all the ins and outs, the people who are working the radio broadcast, players getting ready before the game, and the fans pouring in all the way till game time. So it's an amazing movie for a kid to watch back in the 90s. And this was one of my favorite movies of all time. So I love baseball. I'm actually a baseball coach here in Queen Creek, Arizona, 2 years running now, back-to-back years, and continue coaching Little League baseball as well. My 2 kids both play. They're amazing players. I teach them. I have a batting cage at home. We hit all the time. It's just something I love to do. It's one of my passions. So my bucket list was to go to Chicago, right? Have my first Chicago dog, my Italian beef, and deep dish pizza. So I actually had a business expo and trade show and also a networking event at McCormick Convention Center, where that's like close to Soldier Field where the Chicago Bears play. So this was going to be a work play event that I could not wait for. And the number one thing on my agenda was to have myself a Ferris Bueller's type day off where I just hit the town. I wasn't going to get a rental car at all. I was just going to go to Wrigley Field. I wanted to go to Wrigleyville so bad. That was one of my bucket lists. I had to go see a baseball game in Wrigley Field. And luckily, this expo was going on while the Cubs were playing at home. So I was lucky enough. I bought my tickets before I went, and I spent the entire day just going all around Chicago. I was there for almost 2 weeks, stayed in a suite. It was beautiful. I love Chicago. And this is going to correlate with the video. Kind of, I know it's going off the tracks a little bit, but this is, you got to kind of understand where Chicagoans are coming from, their passions, because they bring a lot of it to Arizona, right? We have the Chicago Cubs are in Mesa, their spring training facilities here in Mesa. We also have the Chicago White Sox here in Glendale, Arizona at Camelback Ranch. Okay, so there's a huge Chicago influence here. A lot of their restaurants are here. They bring a lot of their businesses here as well. So I love working with people who are from Chicago, and I have a lot of friends who are from Chicago. So definitely, I want to give you guys a little bit of a flashback for when I was in Chicago back in 2014, May 2014. I stayed all the way to the end of the month, almost until June. I had such a great time, met a lot of great people, and I went to Wrigley Field. Check it out. All right, so that's footage. This is actually old cell phone footage that I have from 2014, and I just wanted to share with you guys my love for Chicago, being from California, and this being on my bucket list was going to Wrigley Field to see a game. Like I said, that movie Rookie of the Year was one of my favorite movies, and I always wanted, before I wanted to go to Wrigley Field. That's Waveland Avenue over there. Sammy Sosa was popular for hitting home runs right on that street. Fans would be running up and down that street to catch home run balls from Sammy Sosa back in 1998. And you see a little blue back there. That's actually Lake Michigan, if you can see it. I know the camera's kind of shaky there, but rooftop seats. You can actually see the game from your house. The stadium is dead smack in the middle of a neighborhood. That's what I love about Wrigley Field. It's in an area called Wrigleyville off of Addison. I actually took the Red Line subway all the way up. No car, just Uber when I came to Chicago. Uber, taxi, and subway. It was the best. Being from California, where you have to drive, you're in traffic, people are yelling at each other, there's no interaction. The subway changed my life. It made me look at traveling a whole nother way. Now I had to hit my bucket list. Food was the number one thing on the agenda. I probably had about 3 pizzas. I ate pizza for about 3 days straight. And I had Chicago style hot dogs. Like I said, I went to Murphy's Red Hots. I'll get into that a little bit. But Michael Jordan, one of the hardest working people, one of the biggest competitors, perseverers, businessman ever. Biggest influence I had, especially in sports growing up, was Michael Jordan. I grew up in the 90s, and every kid wanted to be like Mike, right? That Gatorade commercial, especially me. I love Michael Jordan. I think he's the greatest athlete ever. And in the 90s, every time you looked up, the Bulls were winning the championship, right? And that's kind of how it is in this decade, in this time, is Brady's winning the championship every time you look up. But coming to Chicago, first time, 2014, I stayed in a high-rise suite. It was absolutely beautiful, and it was really inexpensive. And I remember it was stretched out, long, extended patio where it overlooked Lake Michigan. And I just thought it would look like a lake. Lake Michigan looks like an ocean. It looks like a straight up ocean. It's beautiful. Lake Michigan is breathtaking. Chicago has so many buildings and sky rises. It's a beautiful city. Okay, I was right there on Lakeshore Drive by Navy Pier. Those are my colleagues and business partners at the time, people who I was networking with in Chicago on that trip, and we were having a great time on the rooftops. Everybody knows about the Chicago rooftops. Man, the nighttime views with the moon hitting the lake. Sears Tower, I think it's called Willis Tower now, if I'm not mistaken. the Bean, of course, in Chicago. Really great time. I love the people of Chicago. And McCormick Place, like I said, that's where I was down at the McCormick Convention Center. And all I did, like I said, was take the subway. It was the greatest experience from someone coming from California, where we have, and Arizona, where we have no real public transportation, right? I felt here like I would never even want a car or need a car. I can get everywhere I need to go on the subway, and it was amazing. I bought a week pass, and I upgraded my week pass so I can get around, do my business stuff, do my meet and greets, and head back. All these photos are photos that I still have from my old cell phone. I have a lot of my photos that go way back. 2014, I'm working at McCormick and networking and hanging out and stuff, but I couldn't be all work, no play, right? It was all work and play. The Chicago River, absolutely beautiful, right? The River Walk and things like that. Harry Carey's, he has his own restaurant. That's a guy who passed away, unfortunately, who would sing the 7th Inning Stretch. Now, Murphy's Red Hots. This is the first place. It's in North Chicago, right around the corner from Wrigleyville. First place I ever had my first Chicago dog. Now, it was delicious. I actually got one Chicago dog, which was a Polish sausage style, and I had a Chicago dog. They're delicious. I still haven't had one this good, right? I still have yet to find one this good. Especially the Polish sausage one was delicious, right? This is an actual photo of what I ate. Absolutely delicious. Still, like I said, to this day, I have not had something that good when it comes to Chicago style hot dogs anywhere else outside of Chicago. Like I said, the Cubs, you're on Waveland Avenue, right? Cubs fans everywhere. It's probably one of the best times I've ever had. Definitely up there. Being in Wrigleyville, they call it Wrigleyville. There's tons of restaurants, bars, lounges all around the stadium, vendors selling stuff. It's just a whole different type of vibe being in North Chicago there. Lakeshore Drive, you're in Lakeview. You could see Lake Michigan there, and the breeze coming in. That's where the wind comes in and knocks the home run balls down. But anyway, that's what I just wanted to give you guys a little background about Chicago. I feel like I can connect with them as well when they're out here in Arizona. And that's my little bit that I have in common with the Chicagoans. So if you're ever in Tucson, Arizona, and you're at Luke's Italian Beef, man, you got to try it. But I definitely recommend go to Chicago first, then come back and try Chicago style food anywhere else, right? And try and compare it. So I got the Italian beef with the Italian sausage with the hot and sweet peppers. It was so good. This is seriously, this one rivals the Chicago ones. This one is the like Al's in Chicago, Al's Italian beef. I think Luke's is the best ever. I'm going to give this place a 10 out of 10. The best ever Italian beef sandwich I have ever had in my life. It's so good, so juicy. You got it dipped in the juice, just right on that French bread. The peppers are delicious. I love tomatoes as well. The Chicago style hot dog was really good, but like I said, I still have not found any match to Murphy's Red Hots in Chicago, Illinois, up there by Wrigleyville. Now, this Chicago dog, like I said, was good. I took one of the tomatoes, I threw it in the Italian beef sandwich because I just love tomatoes. That's my thing. I love tomatoes on everything. Now, they give you French fries with it when you order it. And this is the Italian sub. We got the half. This is my wife, actually. She had the Italian sub. She's the one who likes to, eat light. I eat heavier. I'm a bigger guy than my wife. My wife is short, so she goes for all this, the healthier options, right? I need to get a little healthier as well. But I tasted it. I got a good bite of it. Me and my wife share all the time anyway, and my kids too. They want to pick at stuff, but they're really picky. The Italian sub was really good. Like I said, on the French roll, fresh ingredients and everything. As you guys can see there, it's really good. And if you're in Tucson, definitely check this place out. Thank you guys for watching the video. Like it if you love it. Share it if you love it as well. And I'll see you guys on the next one. I'm out.